Fine, let's start. Let me put this in a slideshow mode. So now I have given a brief intro about myself, right? What I do and all those things. And these are some of the certifications that I did last year only. I mean, I had some certifications prior to that, but this was recently added to my book. One was the PL305 Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst. I gave it last year. I renewed it this week only. So basically, if you clear the exam, right, and after that, basically every year you have to renew that. So it was this last week only I renewed that, and I also have done certifications on Azure and all those. So wherever required, I'll put my knowledge, I'll impart my knowledge related to data, cloud, Azure, AWS, all those things related to Power BI only. Fine. So I'll start with the basic intro, guys. And this the first few sessions would be not directly related to Power BI. It would be in and around that. I'll try to make concepts clear, and I'll try to make it more interactive so that you guys get to understand from the core concept. But at any point you feel that you want some more info, you're not aware, or you want me to go deeper into this, feel free to unmute and tell your name and let me know what you want me to cover that. Okay. How many of you have? I'm not sure. Like if you visited India, you are from India, right? And how many of you have visited at least the two cities that I've seen? I've basically showed here, or at least are you aware of which these two cities are? Anyone from the audience? Okay, I'll just go one by one. Which is this city here? Which I am putting towards my left side. Which one? This one. Which is the city? Any idea, guys?
No idea.
Hyderabad. That's Hyderabad.
Okay. Great, that's Hyderabad. Any idea what is this right? This city is towards the right side.
Bangalore?
Exactly. How did you get to know this is Bangalore? I think Vidhan Sauda, right? They're Vidhan Sauda. So
Yes.
Charminar, we know that from Hyderabad. This is Bangalore. Okay. Why I have put these two cities? I'll basically tell you a story. Again, let me tell you guys, data visualization or BI developers, they are also called as storytellers. Yes. And all of us would have heard stories during our childhood days, right? And we would be quite familiar to a few of the stories, and we love stories, right? If they are articulated in a nice way, we love to hear those. So BI developers or data analysts are also called as storytellers. The reason is, from the data, they try to tell the story. See, everyone has access to data, everyone can see the data. It depends on the perspective that you see. How do you basically understand how deeper you can go into that? So the job of data analyst is not only to create visualizations, it's more to that. Everyone can learn Power BI, create visualization, but to be good or to be a best or to be an expert BI developer, you need to know how to tell stories. So it's all about storytelling, and that we're seeing here. Let's see a story here, or let's understand a story here. Okay, the story goes like, let's assume that you, me, each one of us are the CEO of a company, chief executive officer, or we can say we are the owner of this company. And this particular company that we are the owner of, think of any company that you want. It basically manufactures the electrical appliances like air conditioners, water geysers, and let's say coolers. Okay, all those things. Now, let's assume that we are a new company. There are some good companies in the market, like say Hitachi and all those. We're a new company, like 3-4 years old, and we are trying to basically expand in India. So what happened, guys, is that someday we get to know that okay, at the year end results are out, the performance results are out, and we as a founder of the company, we get to know that the sales of air conditioner for this financial year. Okay, now what's the financial year? In India, it's basically April to March. In US, it could be from Jan to December, right? Or different companies have different financial year. So for this, let's say for in India, because we are saying this financial year, April to March, we got to know that the sale of air conditioners has gone up in Hyderabad, whereas it has gone down in Bangalore. Let's assume that now we are operating in two major cities only, Hyderabad and Bangalore. We are catering to these two cities only. So because if we have some profit, then we'll gradually move to different parts of India. So I could observe that especially during the month of March, April, May, June, these 4 months, right? The sales of air conditioner has gone up in Hyderabad, but not in Bangalore, right? So I'll just like put it like this. This is the share of air, this is air conditioner, right? It has gone up here. Whereas in Bangalore, the sale of air conditioners has gone down. How did I get to know this particular thing? So I'm like I said, like I'm the CEO or you're the CEO, and I have a team of BI developers or data analysts. They showed me a Power BI dashboard where from there I got to know, okay, the sales is high for for Hyderabad, but low for Bangalore. Now I asked my data analyst that, hey, do you know the reason? What could be the reason? Why? Why is that we have this particular city, Bangalore, not people not opting for more air conditioners? So I'll ask this. Let's assume that you are those data analysts. I'm asking this question to you. So can any one of you let me know what could be a possible reason that in our company the sales of air conditioner is less in Bangalore, especially during summers? Any guess? It could be wrong, no problem, but I want every one of you to unmute and let whatever you think, put it here. If you have some jokes
Usually,
also, no problem.
Bangalore climate is not that hot comparing to Hyderabad.
Exactly. That's one of the reason. Any other reason, guys, you guys think that the sale of air conditioner was down in Bangalore?
There could be more
Okay, so
competition.
okay, there could be more competition. Yes, good point. I'll say.
Not many people are moving to Bangalore.
You mean there are less consumers in Bangalore? You mean there is less population in Bangalore compared to Hyderabad?
I mean, people
Okay, I'll give you.
relocating to Hyderabad is much higher these days.
Okay, okay.
Maybe everyone
Yeah,
has
it could be a
already air
possible.
conditioner.
That's also another reason. But there are two contesting points, right? People not moving to, are moving to Hyderabad, less moving to Bangalore, and people having already existing air conditioner. It might happen that those air conditioners might be 10 years old, not performing good. They would try to have some new relevant points. I'll say relevant points. But I'll say people who have visited Bangalore can more agree to this that again things have changed, climate is changing, but Bangalore weather is pleasant. It's not that hot compared to Hyderabad during summers. Okay, so this is my personal opinion that I see or I have seen most of the people in Bangalore yet true, or I'll say most of them they do not have an air conditioner. Some of them might have. Most of them, I haven't seen an air conditioner in Bangalore compared to Hyderabad or Delhi or any other city. And and the reason is obviously Bangalore, the weather at Bangalore. I know people who are at Bangalore, a few friends of mine who are at Bangalore, they boast about the weather over there, right? So that's the main reason. There could be other reasons for that, but let's try to figure out what is the main reason of not or the air conditioner not performing good in Bangalore was because of during summers, guys, during the evening, late in the evening, most of the time it rains in Bangalore. So people do not need that. Okay. And the reason was climate. The reason was basically the climate of Bangalore. And I, as a CEO, I need to take some, I'll say, decisions so that I have to make my presence in Bangalore, right? I cannot let the weather be or like I cannot cry saying that weather in Bangalore is good, so I cannot sell AC. I have to make some decision where I need to basically expand to different cities. So the first thing as a data analyst, when the story happens that okay, the sales goes down at Bangalore. The reason behind that we get to know okay, climate is one of the major reason. Apart from that, there would be obviously the reasons that you have come up with could be a reason. But the main reason that I understand that no people are going to Bangalore because there are a lot of opportunities. I could see every day like someone's relative would be going to Bangalore for a job or for something like for training or all those things. So people are going to Bangalore, but the reason is because of climate, they're not purchasing an air conditioner. Now, as a CEO, what decisions do I need to take? Right? What decision do I need to take so that I want to increase the sales of my, or I want to increase my presence in Bangalore? So the other thing I have observed in Bangalore is, guys, is that people, they do not have air conditions, but they have a water geyser. Again, the same thing, because of the cool climate or the chilly weather over there. Some now obviously things have changed. People prefer to have water heaters in their bathrooms or in the kitchens. So I, as a CEO, I basically manufacture water heaters or geysers also, right? So I'll prefer to increase the sales of water heaters or geysers at Bangalore, right? It would be basically, I'll say, if I try to do the reverse, it would be something, a loss that I would be incurring, right? It's okay. Climate is a factor here. And again, in Hyderabad, it's not that cool. So people do not prefer to have water geysers on all those things, right? What I'll do is I'll try to increase my presence in Bangalore with water geysers. Okay, the problem I got to know the reason, and I basically tried to find a solution to that. By doing this, basically what happened is that I have tried to have increase my presence. So basically I have my presence in all those cities. I have more revenue generated, I have more profit created. So this particular story that we had right now is not a fiction story. I'll say it's the reason why people are moving towards data. It's the reason why companies are investing in BI tools. The simple reason is because of that they want the data to be properly utilized. And that we'll be discussing in the next video. So any doubt here, any questions that you have in this slide, any particular thing that you are not able to understand?
No.
Right? Understood, right? Clear also, interesting also, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
Fine. Now again, some of the screenshots, some of the real-time examples that I've tried to take here. Okay. And guys, I'll first focus on the first point here, and I'm sure people who joined last week, it would be repetitive for you. No problem, it's a revision. We'll be discussing about this particular keyword or this particular sentence. Basically, data is the new oil. And there is something hidden over here. I'll say it's basically called as data is a new oil of what? Of 21st century. After 2000, we entered into 21st century, right? So data is now the new oil of 21st century. And this is not me who is saying this. I think this particular term was coined, or this particular sentence was coined by Economist magazine. And any guess, guys, why do you think that people or companies, or you might have also heard this, that they are saying that data is a new oil? What would be the possible reason? Why is data called as new oil? People who joined last week, you know, you can answer, no problem. Why is data called as a new oil of 21st century?
I think it's because after making inferences from the data, you can maximize your profit.
Okay, that's the output of that. That's correct, I'll say. But the question here says is, why is data called as new oil? Why is, let's say, this particular phone not called as a new oil? Or any other thing is not called as a new oil? Why is data called as new oil? What's the importance of data?
I think it's probably because it's raw data and we have to work on it to
Okay,
Maybe
to
it's
understand
in
this,
demand.
yeah, that's something related to demand, correct? Let's understand what is oil. What did oil do? Oil is not the refined oil that we consume in our home. Or this is basically crude oil, right? Petrol, diesel, all those things. So what happened, guys, is countries in the Middle East, right? Like UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, even Iraq, Iran. These countries, the major source of revenue this country has is oil, right? We know most of these countries, they do not charge direct tax from their employer, from the citizens also. Reason is they have lot of oil. They sell their oil, they generate revenue from that. So what happened after the discovery of oil? These countries prospered. Okay, what happened with oil? Oil is like something that we use day to day, right? The webcam that I'm using here, or the laptop that I'm using here, was transported or shipped to me by Amazon, Flipkart, or from wherever I had purchased that, via, let's say, a truck or a bus or a railway, from anywhere where oil was used. Let's assume for one single day we do not have crude oil, petrol, diesel, nothing in that. The whole economy will get stuck, right? So in before 21st century, this was the case with oil. Now we know we are coming with some alternates to that, like renewable energy or all that, but still, oil was something that was like every country's they were focusing on that, right? Any countries that had oil as their resource, they prospered. Now, after 21st century, after 2000, basically, it's data called as new oil. The reason is any country, any individual else, or any organization which has your data or which has anyone's data is powerful, right? Basically, the power lies with the underlying power. Basically, let's say the companies, they manipulate elections. I'm sure, guys, you guys in US might be aware of Cambridge Analytica. If not, basically, it was some data from Facebook which was leaked, and there are people like there are reports that yes, they try to manipulate elections over there, as elections like as big as like in US also. So it's all about data, because these companies like let's say Twitter, Meta as Facebook, Google, Netflix, Amazon, they have all the data, guys. I'll say Google, for instance, I'll tell you, if I'll ask you what did you do like 5 years back, you might not be able to know. Even I will not be able to know on this particular date. Let's say what 5 years back, what did I do? I don't know. But there's something a feature in Google Map called Google Timeline. I go to my Google Timeline, I select the date 5th of Feb 2019. I'll get to know which all places I visited that day, right? And it's my habit also. I just keep on like doing these things so that I get to know, okay, on this day I had visited this particular place. So this particular image that you guys see over here, right? This one. This is an old image, I'll say, taken last year, which all places I visited in India. So how did I get to know? Google, I turn on the data all the time, right? People in India, you might know that now data is very cheaper here. So basically, most of the people they keep on their mobile data, and Google keeps a track of which all places I visited. Obviously, I have enabled my location for that. So I'll tell you, Google knows me more than I know myself. That I can say. Right. Same case goes with other companies. Let's say Amazon. I purchased a laptop the other day, and I got this suggestion saying that do you want to purchase a keyboard, a bag, a mouse, right? So it has somewhere stored my data saying yes, this particular guy has the laptop. Sorry, has purchased a laptop, right? Also, I was searching for a movie sometime, and Google Netflix did not have that particular movie. This is again screenshot from my own phone. Okay, guys. So sometime later, I got to see this notification saying that this title that you are searching for is now available. So what does that mean? So Netflix somewhere has stored the data that what this guy Chinmay was searching for. Correct. So basically, people know or people are aware of that yes, their data is being used till they give all access, and companies basically they collect data and they make use of this. Now you see, guys, Google Ads, right? You watch something in your or you search in your laptop, the ad that you see in YouTube would be related to that, because Google now knows that okay, this particular guy is searching for this particular thing, let's say a bag or a wallet, and Google will come up with the ads over there. Right? It will throw ads to you. These are how the algorithms are designed there, right? So that's how they are trying to generate revenue by using your data. So Google Ads is not free, right? People who post ads in Google, they pay a good amount to Google. It's like around 2,000, 1,000 per day. So that's the reason basically how these companies are earning money, right? So I'll tell you that yes, companies, organizations, individuals who have access to data, who have data, are considered as someone basically right now who can rule the world, who can turn things around, right? So people say that next world war would be not on not basis like not on like on the ground, but it will be cyber attacks. It will be related to data. Lot of different things come around. Fine. Moving further, I'll now go more deeper into the BI workflow, business intelligence workflow. Also, I just want to know from few of you guys who joined new today, like who all you think this is something new to you? Are you aware of this topic, OLAP, OLTP? If all of you have attended the session last time, I'm not sure. Like I can skip this or I can just go give a gist of this. Anyone who is new today, if okay, I'll just repeat. If you're new, I'll repeat all the points over here again.
I joined just yesterday, so I'm not sure. Maybe
Fine.
if I can
So
get a
no problem.
recording, then I can review later. If that works
I'm
for
not sure
everyone.
the demo session had a recording, but it's okay. We can start from fresh today. And for people who had attended the demo last week, for them it would be a quick revision also.
Okay.
Okay. For questions for people who had joined last week, I know a few of you guys, right? Anyone? I'll just ask you one simple question. As a BI developer, what do I connect my BI tool to? OLAP or OLTP? So I will not get to know who said that or who basically gave a response. So just a minute. Okay. Yes, guys. From where do we connect to a BI tool? Is it OLAP or OLTP?
I think it's OLAP.
Anyone? Okay. Can you come with a name, ma'am? Sorry, there's a phone number to this.
Yeah. So I have to edit it. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. What's your name? Sorry.
Shweta.
Shweta. Okay. Thanks, Shweta. It's correct. Anyone else who thinks why OLAP is a good? Why do we need to connect to OLAP? Why not OLTP? Anyone else who can come up with your answers?
Hi, this is Satya. Maybe I'm not sure, but OLAP has the analytics also apart from the transactional things included in it. Maybe that's the reason why we use it. I'm not sure. It's just a
Yes,
guess. Yeah.
you're partially correct, I'll say.
Yeah.
I'll say 75% correct. The reason is, yes, it's OLAP, and the reason is correct, but OLAP doesn't have OLTP data. I'll tell you what's the difference again.
Okay.
Okay, let's understand this. Why OLAP? What is OLTP? All these things. And again, to understand this, let's make it a little more interesting over here. Okay, guys. Again, I'll give some wide examples of real-time examples that I do. So what I do is late in the night in India, right? Like let's say after this session, my family members they're all asleep. I feel hungry. I search for something in the refrigerator in the kitchen. I do not get to eat. So we have these food aggregators in India called Zomato, Swiggy. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of that. So this is basically you order something online, they will go to the restaurant, fetch the um, meal or fetch the food, and they'll deliver it at our doorstep. Okay, so that's the great thing. And some days like these weekends, right? I'll feel like munching something. I know it's not healthy, but still I'm hungry, so I'll order some roll or chicken kebab, all these things. So let's assume after this session I'm hungry, I'll do this. Okay, what will happen is I'll go to my let's say Zomato or Swiggy. I'll open the app. I'll select my food, and let's suppose I want to have biryani, Hyderabadi biryani. I'll go. I'll add to cart. I'll then pay the amount. How do I pay that amount? From my net banking, from my account. That the amount is debited, and now after that the transaction is successful. The money gets credited to the restaurant, and all those things. They go, they bring, they take the food, and then I have it. Okay, why I'm giving this example is had this same thing happened like let's say 50 years back. 50 years back we did not had internet also, but had the same situation happened, what would have happened? I would have waited for the other day, and the other day morning I'll go to the bank. I'm saying like 1973, 1974. Okay, in India I'm saying, or in any part of the earth, we do not have like those ATMs also. That type. I'll go to the bank, I'll fill up a form, I'll withdraw the money, I'll go to the restaurant, I'll have food, and I'll come back. I don't have the privilege to order late night foods over there, right? So what happened 50 years back was these banks, they did not had something called as servers, right? They did not had something called as a particular what you call a database where they get to know, okay, this guy Chinmay has how much money in his account. Let's say 1,000 rupees. Okay, he's trying to do a transaction of how much? 1,200. All those are maintained in records, in copies, pens, right? That's how data was stored. Now, at like 11 or 12 late in the night, is there any banking personnel or is there any banker who authorizes the transaction? No, right? They are also all asleep. So it's basically some system automatically which is doing this. Perfect, right? So what's happening now is, okay, there is a server. This particular server knows that, okay, in the account, this is 1,000 rupees we have. This guy has 1,000 rupees. He's trying to do a transaction of 800 rupees. All good. 800 is less than 1,000. Approved. Food ordered. I got to have this. Now let's assume again I have my account with SBI. SBI is a bank. And basically the State Bank of India, they have a server in Mumbai where they have this. Let's assume all these things I'm saying. It's all fiction. They have a server in Mumbai where they have this record stored that Chinmay has this much in his account. Now, when I'm doing this transaction, basically it's going to that server. It's fetching the data. It's seeing how much balance it has, and then it's authorizing, and then basically all things are happening. If I try to order something like 1,200 a food, it will not allow that. It was insufficient balance. Okay, so somewhere banks are storing our data, right? So in the last slide I said, right, Google is storing my data, Facebook is storing my data, Netflix is storing my data. Here also banks is storing my data. And bank, let's assume State Bank as a bank also would be doing some data analysis. They're also doing, like, they also had to submit like the quarterly reports. So they'll also say that, okay, this many people have this much money in our, they'll not publicly say this, but an average balance they will quote saying this is what the average balance that we have. So somewhere they're doing the data analysis also. So from the State Bank point of view, there is a server where data analysis is happening, and the same data, the transaction part is also happening, right? So understand this. I'm trying to make you understand what is OLTP and OLAP here. So OLTP stands for Online Transactional Processing. It's an acronym to that. Online, any server that is online. Online means 24/7, it is connected to the internet. Transactional processing. So now what's transactional processing, guys? See this. So basically, transactional data is stored in that particular server. Right? Transactional server, like how much balance this guy has and all those things. Right? So OLTP is basically any server where the data that is stored is transactional data. Right? Simple. Understand that. Now, SBI is a bank, has stored this OLTPs, let's say in Mumbai, and the data analyst team is also working, and they are basically connecting to this OLTP server, and from there they are basically developing the BI reports, right? So what will happen with this? Does it happen in real time? No. The reason is we do not go and play or touch the live servers. These OLTP servers are live servers, right? So if every data analyst connects to this server might go down. If the server goes down, what will happen? There will be a customer impact. You are trying to doing some transaction, you'll not receive an OTP. Right? Let's suppose you have an Amazon deal, which is just for the next 10 minutes only. You'll try to receive OTP, the OTP will come the other day. You'll be frustrated with your bank. You'll say, no, I'll change my bank. So basically, I'll say that, yes, no bank does this. They will not play with this live server. What they will say is, for your data analyst, okay, boss, do not worry. We'll create a backup of our server, a carbon copy type. They'll create one more server, backup server. They'll sync both. So the data that we have in this particular, let's say in OLTP, will pass to OLAP. It will be in sync. The other server will be called as OLAP. So as the name suggests, online analytical processing. Basically here, this particular server, yet the data that would be stored is analytical data, right? So we as BI developers, we as data analysts, we do not touch this OLTP. We basically touch, or we basically connect to OLAP. Understood the reason why we connect to OLAP? Again, this is an interview question asked in most of the interviews, saying that as a BI developer, what do you connect your data to? OLTP, OLAP. So the next time you get to hear these two terms, OLTP, OLAP, you might think these are complicated terms, but these are very simple, right? And that's the difference. You connect to, as a BI developer, you connect to OLAP. What is OLAP? OLAP is the same server or database, which is basically having data for only for analysis purpose, not for transactional purpose. Clear, guys? Any doubt in understanding the difference between the both, or any doubt that you have related to this?
No.
Clear, right? So understanding again, like what is the BI workflow? Okay, let's understand this. Before understanding this, what does a BI tool do? It converts raw data, like pure raw data that we have, like tables in terms of, and this into meaningful information. See, data is, guys, I'll say data is something invisible. We cannot see the data. We know we cannot see the data means, okay, we can see it in a table, but how do we use that? I just get to see, let's suppose 10 records, 20 records. I'll say there are crores of records. I cannot see all those crores of records data, right? So we as BI developer, our job is to make that invisible thing visible. How? By developing reports, Power BI reports, dashboards. So our job is to convert that raw data into meaningful information, right? Because we as BI developers, if we do not do that, there's no use of the data. It's as good as data lying as it is, right? So we basically create a meaningful or we try to create a meaningful insight from that data. Correct. So that's a job of a BI developer. That's what a BI tool does. And the end result is that we basis this, the business that try to be profitable. That's the end product. That's the end goal, right? No business or no startup that or any owner tries to get into loss, right? This whole ultimate purpose is to have profit. Now, understanding the BI workflow, how does things happen here? Let's again understand the same example. SBI, let's suppose that SBI or State Bank of India is trying to do some analysis of its data. It's trying to understand, okay, there are three teams in SBI. One is, let's say, your savings team. Savings team, I mean savings account team, like your debit card, ATM, whatever your account that you have, right? They maintain that. The other, let's assume, is a credit card team, credit card of SBI. And let's assume the third one is basically your SBI loans. Okay, these are three teams. Let's assume only we have these three teams, and these three teams, they are storing their data in different areas, and it happens in real time. It will not happen that because they are from the same organization that they'll store in the same server. No. At some point they started with, let's say, savings. At that point of time, they have stored their data, let's assume, in Oracle. Oracle is a database. At other point, they have basically, the savings account team, they thought SQL Server is a good option, and they have stored their data here. And the third team, let's assume, is let's say, the loans team. They have saved their data in terms of, let's say, simple Excel files only. Now, we as a data analyst, what we do is we basically have to connect all of these three to our Power BI and then create a report. But I said you, right, guys, that we basically do not touch the old TP. So here the role of data engineer comes. The data engineer now steps in, and his job is to create a warehouse. Guys, just 1 minute. I'm getting an urgent call. I'll just be on mute for 1 minute. Sorry. I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. So basically what I was trying to say here is, okay, we as a data analyst of SBI, what we'll do is we'll say the data engineer guy, hey, you create a OLAP for us. How? You basically bring all the data from Oracle, from the SQL server, from the files to a single data warehouse, right? And we as BI developers will just connect to that only. That is our OLAP. So what this data engineering guy will do is he will do ETL here. Now, what is ETL, guys? I can show you when I open Power BI. ETL means extract. It's an acronym basically. E stands for extracting the data. T stands for transformation of data. And L stands for load of data. So basically, this data engineering guy, what he will do is he'll extract the data from the data source. from the different data source. We'll extract the data, means we'll connect to this data source and bring the data. Extracting is bringing the data. Then he will basically do some transformations. Transformations, like there would be some data which we might not require, or there would be some garbage data, right? Some noise data. We call those as semi-structured data, structured or unstructured data. They will basically try to get rid of that. They will delete all those. They will basically try to remove those, remove errors and all those. Basically, cleaning part they will do. And then they will basically store it in the data warehouse. And we as BI developers will connect to that. Now you might ask a question that Chinmay, you said in Power BI also we have like something called as Power Query, where you said the same word, like it's called as washing machine of Power BI, where we clean the data. What about that? So one good thing about Power BI is that, guys, that this particular tool Power BI has an internal tool also to do the ETL, and we'll see that. Let's assume that in your company you do not have a data engineer, okay, or you do not have someone who is well versed with all these things. So few of these things can be done in Power BI also. So Power BI has given that flexibility to the BI developers that you can also do some data transformations in your basically BI tool. And I think no other BI tool has those functionalities that Power BI has. Okay. So basically we'll be seeing that in the subsequent sessions, how in Power Query we do all these things. Right. So any doubt here, guys, in the BI workflow, understanding OLAP, OLTP, and all those things? No, right?
No.
Fine. So I think we have just crossed our time. It's 10:30 in India. I mean, it would be like 10 p.m. for you guys. So I'll again start this session from, I know I will check with the team if we have a session tomorrow or we have on Monday, but I think you can let me know whenever the next session we have. We'll be understanding what is basically the same thing that we discussed in our demo classes. We'll be going in more detail about understanding what is why is data required. We'll seeing a case study. We'll basically understand the case study of why Nokia, what happened with Nokia, then basically the requirement of a business intelligence tool. Why do we need a business intelligence tool? We'll be seeing some interesting examples so that we understand, okay, why is the BI tool required? And then we'll move into what is Power BI and all those things in details. We'll also understand why Power BI, why are we discussing Power BI, why not any other BI tool? Because this particular chart that you see is from Gartner from last year, where it places Power BI as the top BI tool, right? Microsoft means it's at Power BI only. Microsoft is the mother of Power BI, you can say. So we'll be seeing all these things tomorrow. So for the next 2-3 classes will be more about theoretical, interesting things, and then we'll directly go into Power Query, Power BI, Power Query, Power Pivot, all those things. So any doubt here, guys? Anything that you want me to repeat? You have some questions? Feel free to ask.